Hey guys, I've got a Blender tutorial for you. But it's not how to make this guy. No, it's not how to make this guy. It's how to rig him. If you want to be a 3D animator or game designer, you'll have to know how to rig things if you're going to do it by yourself. And yes, it's pretty complicated. Complicated and in some cases tedious. But if you stick with me through it, you'll learn a lot. And have your own little digital Lego character to play with. Yeah, so without further ado, let's get started. So, once you've downloaded the base mesh, yeah, make sure your cursor is in the center, which it is. It was saved that way, so it's alright. So now press Shift A. Hang on, sorry about that. Forgot to turn on my screen keys. And I just uncentered my cursor, so this is a good example on how to keep your cursor centered. Right, so yeah. Now press Shift A. Add a single bone under the armature tab. Now you can't see it right now, but we'll get to that in a moment. We want to switch to front view, which is numpad 1, it wasn't numpad 3, and to orthographic view. So now we can view him in, well, a very straight view. Now there's the bone. We can go into wireframe by pressing Z. Now switch to side view. Now press tab to go into edit mode. And this is the head of the bone. You'll be controlling the head of the bone a lot. And this is the tail. You might not be controlling this as much, but if you have to, there it is. And you can also select the whole bone. You can also press Control plus to select the whole bone. Control, yeah, numpad plus, but if you can just select the whole bone, so it's not all that necessary. Now move the head of the bone just around the tip of the feet, the toes. This will be your character's root bone. The root is is how you can move the character while in pose mode without editing, without destroying any of your posing work. So this is important, and you can also use it to make him move along a path, to get a walk cycle going, so you don't have to animate that by hand, completely by hand. Alright, so now I'll go back into edit mode, because I was already in edit mode. Oops. Alright, so now we want to duplicate this. Press Shift D. Now move it up into the waist. See these lines? You want to try and make sure they line up. They don't have to line up perfectly, but I want them to, so and keep going up. Now to get a new bone, press E to extrude. So now you have a chain of bones. You've just begun his spinal cord. So you move that up to the base of the neck, and then you move that up into the head. Oh, sorry. Alright, so now we have his spinal cord. Alright, the next thing we can do his arms. So select your character mesh. Now press tab to go into edit mode, and switch the view to vertex select, the selection type anyway. And select these vertices in the right arm, and press cursor and Shift S, cursor to selected. It's alright. We don't panic, it's not in the center. It doesn't need to be in the center for this. Now Shift A to add another armature. It does it automatically since we're not in a primitive view. We're not editing a primitive or another mesh. And now tab out of edit mode again and go back into edit mode for the character. This will be the character's shoulder. So now select these vertices and cursor to selected. No, cursor to selected. No, I did that already. I must have clicked. Anyway, tab into edit mode. Select the armature. Tab into edit mode again. Selection to cursor. You've now got his shoulder. The next thing you'll want is his upper arm. Now, let's see. Where do I want it to bend? If you don't have an exact bending, actually, hang on. I'm gonna move this bone back. I think that's a better idea. Move it backward a little. There we go. Oops. There we go. Okay, now select these. I think this is what I want to do. Yeah, these. This one. Cursor to selected. Click on the head. E, extrude, click. You won't see anything, but that's alright. Selection to cursor. It'll bring the bone over there. Actually, that's not long enough. You want... Oh, I see. Okay. We actually want to do this. There we go. Yeah, like that. Now, go back into edit mode again. Select these vertices. Cursor to selected. Go back into edit mode into the armature. Selection to cursor. And now, extrude. No, what? Oh, I pressed tab. Must have pressed tab. Extrude into the hand. And they've got one arm. Now you're probably thinking right now, what about the other arm? We'll have to do that all over again. No, we don't. Alright, with the cursor back into the center, so cursor to center, and with the pivot point set to 3D cursor, border select these using B, and then Shift D to duplicate. Now, let's see. That's right. Click on armature or mirror, or press Control M. And let's see. Zoom out. You want the mirror axis to be Control M. You want it to be Y. No, you don't. You want it to be Z. No, you don't. You want it to be X. Third time's the charm. Alright. Actually, hang on. Undo that. Sorry. You want to... Actually, that's alright. Is it? Yeah, make sure you have a bone so that rotates the hand. So put that maybe there. And then repeat what I said for you to do. Alright, now we have bones for the arms, for the two arms. The next thing you might want are bones for the fingers. So, you want one here. So, select those. Cursor to selected. Go back into the armature, press Shift A to add another bone. Now go up into here. Select those vertices. Cursor to selected. Go back into the armature. Selection to cursor. Go to the tip. Cursor to selected. Click on the armature. E to extrude. Selection to cursor. Now I can mirror that as well. Hopefully it will mirror properly. So Control M. We want the Y. No, hang on. I forgot to move the cursor to the center. Actually, we probably want it here. Cursor to selected. Alright, so it's already duplicated. Control M, Y. No? Z. Yep, there we go. And now you have bones. You should have bones in his fingers. Now we'll have to fix these because they're rotating at awkward angles. I don't know why. Let's see. Alright, I'm going out of wireframe so I can see what I'm doing within the hand. So if you want to see what you're doing with the bones, go to the armature properties. No, armature data, I guess. And under display, that might be under display, click on X-ray. Now I can see what you're doing. Okay, I'm going to rotate this bone's head. Going to okay. All right, I'm going to roll it because it looks a little awkward. So yeah, roll it and hold control to roll at 10 increments of 10. You want to also fine-tune it in front view. I have a feeling that this might cause, that if we leave them unrolled, it might cause problems with the rig later. Okay, so with that fixed up, select these, move the cursor to the center, Shift D, Control M, Control M, am I there? And yeah, I'm there, and press X to mirror it on the global X axis, or not. Control M. Oh, wait, no, the pivot point, no, it's still there. Okay, there we go. Okay, that's alright. So yeah, you're actually making a rig that's better than the one I've already got, so alright. Now I want to fix up the character's legs. So select his mesh, the character mesh, and select these vertices here. Try not to get this one, so if you get it, just border select again and then hold shift to get rid of him. Right, now back to side view, cursor to selected, now shift A to add a bone, shift A. Oh, right, I'm not in armature. Alright, so tab out of edit mode, select the armature, tab into edit mode, shift A, and then drag it to where you need it to go. So right, just adjust it as needed. It's in the center of the leg, so it should be all right. Yeah, then you click, go back into the tab out of edit mode from the armature, go to the minifig mesh again, and then select these, cursor to selected, back to side view, select the head of the bone, cursor to selected. Nope, I meant selection to cursor. Alright, and make sure that it is lined up. I also want to put it back in this middle of the character's leg, and then extrude downward. So it's selected. Actually, no, we don't need to do that. Well, actually, yes, we do. We could use the cursor as a guideline. It's on, I think, this grid line here. Alright. Actually, hang on, we need to move it down to the middle, so, like, in there. That should do it. There we go. And then extrude again. Then you have your foot control. And then one more. Extrude again, and then downward. Wait, am I rotating? E, downward. And that will be your inverse kinematic control bone. I'll explain that when we get to it. Now, once again, select those, Shift D to duplicate, cursor to center, pivot point to cursor, Control M, X. There we go. So now your character has armature. Now the next thing we want to do is actually name the armature, because right now it's all bone .001, 002, 003, 004, 005, etc. So just go through and use this nomenclature. So for a single type of bone, just type in the name of the bone that you want. So for this is the root bone, or you could call it the origin. I'm going to call it root. This is the waist, or you could call it the body. I'm going to call it body. This is the chest or torso, so I'm going to call it torso. And this is the head. Well, that's a bit self-explanatory. This is the shoulder. Now, when you have something that is on the left or the right, underscore L or R, corresponding to which side? Corresponding to the side. Wait, shoulder R? Shoulder R. This is upper arm R. Also, it's nice if you have multiple words to keep them all the same word, but to capitalize every other word. So if you're going to say a sentence, that's how you would do it in a in coding. And it kind of carries over here too, because it keeps things tidy, in my opinion. So, and just keep going down the line. Alright. Now I'm gonna do something that might surprise you. I think, let's see, Control L. Don't know what I just did. Armature. Let's see. Can I? Alright. I'm just gonna delete these. But you're probably thinking, wait, we just did all the trouble with mirroring them. Well, we're gonna mirror them again. So, and make sure nothing else is selected. So Shift D to duplicate, Control M, X, and now click Flip Names, and you'll see that the names have all been flipped. This is why have been flipped to L. This is why we do underscore L, because you can do that. So for the same reason, I'm going to get rid of these bones and just work on these ones. So this is the thigh, thew, I can't spell today. R, shin, R, foot R, and leg IK R. Oh, I almost forgot, we do the same for the hands as well. So I'll just select these and extrude across the global X and call this arm IKL, arm IKR. Okay, so that's all done. Now we select this, Shift D, Control M, X, and flip names. So there we go, we have them all flipped. Now, your rig is pretty much ready to assign vertex groups to. Okay, so select the body, the main body, and then shift select the armature. Now Control P, armature deform, armature deform, and check empty groups. So click this one, and now under the object data, we have these vertex groups. So this is be the vertex group for the root, body, torso, head, shoulder, etc. All right. So a way to do it is to just go into edit mode and select the corresponding vertices for what you need, the corresponding vertices for the vertex groups, and that can be a bit tedious. So there's actually another way to do it. It might be a bit harder, but we'll try it. Is weight paint. So you can press Control Tab to go into weight paint mode. Now we don't want to paint any weight for the root. Also, open up this. This is your brush. This is how you can control the brush. Alright, we don't want any paint for the weight for the root. We do, however, want some for the body. So turn the weight all the way up. And just paint around the vertices. If you click on Z, you won't go into transparent wireframe, but you will be able to see where the edges meet easier, which are where the vertices are. So just paint where they are. And it looks a bit like a heat map. And red is complete influence. Blue is absolutely no influence. So just keep painting. You might want to also go into perspective view, especially if you're wanting to get inside the mesh. Now this is where selecting actual vertices would actually come in handy. So just deselect all of those and add this one and click Assign. Now do the same. Hang on, what's going on here? Might want to fix that. Do the same for the upper torso. Assign to torso, and then assign this to the head. And likewise assign these vertices here to the shoulder. Oh, that one. No, yeah, that one. Assign these vertices to the upper arm. And assign these vertices to the lower or the forearm. Be careful you don't get the hand, because you don't want the hand. You can select a vertex if you hold Shift and Alt while right clicking. You can select an edge ring and do the same on the inside. I think. No, if you select an edge, there you go. So if you select an edge, you'll get an edge ring. Right, so then assign that to upper arm R. Now click a vertex in the hand. No, don't do that. Click a vertex in the wrist. And then Control L to select linked. Click hand R. Now go back into orthographic view. Select these vertices here. Assign them to finger base 1R and finger base 2R. And now assign these ones to finger base 1 base R again, and to figure 1 tip R. So do these for base 2 and tip, and do this for base 1 tip, for figure 1 tip and figure 2 tip. So if you want to experiment, if you select the armature, click Control Tab, go into pose mode. We'll go back into material so you can see it. And he can move his fingers. However, they're deforming down there, probably because there are 2 bones associated with it. So, yeah, you might want to know. You might be wondering why that's going on. We'll get to that later. So this is pretty good looking. In any other case, yeah, you'll see. We'll get to that later. All right, where were we? Now do the same for the other side. There's no mirroring function for vertex groups, I don't think, so you'll have to do it all yourself. I'll just try and go through it as fast as I can while still knowing what I'm doing. All right. What was that? I don't know. Now the same principle applies for the legs. So select linked, delete everything below here, deselect everything below here. This is in the left leg, so we'll go down to the left leg. Thigh L. Oh wait, hang on. Forgot this one. Thigh L. I think that's enough for the shin. And then the rest will be for the foot. If not, we can fix that later. And repeat for the other two, for the right side. It's surprisingly small amount of vertices for the shin. Alright. So, right, we've got our character pretty much finished the basic rigging. So yeah, his body moves. Wait, hang on. His torso can bend. His body can move. His arms can bend and stuff. But there's a lot of stuff we need to do before we can finish. Alright, so back into edit mode again. We don't need to go into wireframe view this time, so if that was making you feel a bit sick or something, then you're in luck. Alright, now go to the bone properties, and now under the relations tab, click parent. Now this will be parented to the root. This parented to the body, and this parented to the body. This one will be connected to the torso, parented to the torso. And this one as well. The hand will be, these will be parented to the hand. What's this one? Oh dear. Hang on. Oh, hang on. Okay. No, it's alright. And this will be connected to the hand, so that's why it was not following. Well, the left hand. That's why it wasn't following. Same for this side. Only for the right. And there we are. We move him around. Oh, I'm glad I found that earlier. Alright. Okay, so... Okay, I'm going to keep it like this, and... Okay, so this is a good time for when you should use weight paint mode. So, Control Tab. Now, for some reason, it's parented to the bit between the legs. So turn the weight down and just paint over the vertices. And we'll get rid of the bone weighting issues. Just keep doing it. And that should... You can also turn the strength up to 1, so it will... Yeah. And for some reason, we did not get the upper vertices for this. So I'm going to clear that transformation using Alt-G. Go into edit mode. Thigh R. Okay, so I get these top 4. And then assign, and that has fixed our issue. Alright, so the next thing we should do, is set up the inverse... Oh wait, hang on, yeah. We didn't parent these. Actually, we should unparent these. So, clear that parent. Clear it. Clear that one. Clear that one. And that one. Now, we want to make them parented to the root. These ones too, although it could be a good idea to parent them to the torso. There's you could set up drivers for that, but that's a bit advanced, so we won't go into that in this tutorial. So we parent this to the root as well. And there we are. So right now he's pretty much set to animate, but we can't. But these IK controls, what do we do with those? So yeah, you go to the bone constraints tab up here by selecting a bone in pose mode. Click on the tracking. On the tracking, click inverse kinematics, and now change the chain length to 3. 3, yep. Now the target has a lot of stuff. That's stuff I imported from Eldraw. That's where this came from. Okay, that's gonna take a bit to find the armature. Well, there we go, armature. Then find the bone you want, which is IKL, and repeat down the chain, going down 1 chain length per bone. Same for this side. Oops. Yeah, be careful you don't do that. And that's what happens if you don't set the chain length. So yes, the chain length always counts itself. It's a bit strange, but whatever. So now, if we move this, it tracks. Now that looks a bit strange, so we might want to remove the IK from these. That's a little better. Oh, that's interesting. The arm's not bending. That one is, though. What's going on? Right, go back to weight paint mode. Ah. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of these vertices. Get rid of the get rid of them from upper arm R, and then assign them to forearm R, and that has fixed it. Except we now have weight where we don't want it, so we can clear that from forearm R. There we go. You may have to do it manually. Oh dear. Is that where that went? Alright, so, yeah. Weight paint mode's useful. Okay, what is it doing? Alright. I'm going to have to... Yeah, here's another way of checking where your weight is. Select. Now we don't want it... Oh, we don't want it here either, so get rid of that. Actually, no. Remove. Select again. Okay, that's gone. Select again. What happened to my weight painting? Oh, my vertex weighting. Don't want these ones. These are the ones we don't want. So remove them. Now, an easy way to try and fix up what you've got going wrong in your screen, in your in what's going on with this, is to go to the modifiers and see this. Get rid of that one. We don't need that one. See this armature? If we click on this, display modifier and edit mode, and this, adjust edit cage to modify result, we can see what's going on with the issues. So now we can assign these to the forearm as well, and that should fix it. Anything else? Oh, hello. So add weight here. Subtract weight here. and there. Alright, he's now looking a bit awkward, but we shall fix this promptly. Mostly by clearing transformations. Right, now we do the same for the legs, for the IK. Man, lots of issues that I would not have seen. And now you know how to debug things as well, so that was pretty good. Okay, we want to leg IK R, and the chain length is 2. No, the chain length is 1, thank you very much. And inverse kinematics again, armature. Oops. Ah! Right. Keep doing this. Huh. I'll have to check that out later. Alright, and this again for the left leg. Not lock track, I don't know what that is. Alright, so now that's the foot. Oh, hello. Oh, well, this is a perfect example of what happens if something is parented. No? Perfect example of the incorrect chain length. There we go. And you're maybe thinking, what on earth? That's alright, we will fix this later. We'll fix this very soon. Hello. Oh man. Lots of issues. This is what happens if you do it by yourself, folks. Always hire somebody. Even if you can't afford to, hire somebody. I haven't hired anybody yet. So if you're doing this as a professional thing, hire somebody. I cannot stress that. This is what people actually have. Production facilities actually have people working on the models, the rigging, and the animation all separately. So, yeah. It's easy to know where your strengths are if you're doing it all by yourself. Okay, so shoulder's behaving a little better. We can probably make it behave a bit less like that. Yeah, that's a bit strange. I won't do that. Alright, what are we doing? Alright, we're gonna fix the IK. Right, so as with real life, everything has a limit. Well, with our arms, everything has a limit to how much they can turn. So we want to fix this up here. What's going on there? That's a bit strange. I'm going to clear that. And it's there too. What? Now these negative 180 to positive 180, that's actually 360 degrees. If you think about it, because you're going back 180 degrees, which is a half turn, then you're going forward 180 degrees, which is a full turn. So, bit of math there, or whatever. Geometry. I'm working with geometry. Anyway, fix that up. It's looking a bit ugly. Yep. Alright, so we want the leg to not do that. So we want to keep this. This is fine. but we want to lock it. We want to lock this. So yeah, that's local. We want to limit the x-axis, lock the y and lock the y and z. So now we can only rotate the IK across the x-axis. So now we adjust this circle so it's more of a half circle, but not a complete half circle. We want to maybe make it a quarter circle instead. Maybe a little more. And now nothing happens. Well, something does happen, but it's a bit awkward still. May want to adjust that. You may not. I'm going to adjust mine to maybe 145 degrees. Now what's going on with this? Okay, I haven't actually tested the knee out. Okay, so let's see how this works. Okay, so maybe if I set the weight to 0.5 and then edge ring select this, remove, then adjust the weight to half. Nah. I actually don't remember how I weighted the bones for the last one, so maybe we didn't need those edge loops. I don't know. I'll have to have a look. Let's see, the foot. Actually, this is a good time to adjust what your rig is doing. So you may want to actually put shin influence down near the base, near the top of the foot, and then remove the same influence from the foot. Right, so right. Now we want to fix the oh, hang on. We have to repeat it for the other side too. We want to, okay, we can fix it up in here. It's faster. Right. So I learned from blenderartist.org that having just one IK control bone will not cut it. So go to wireframe mode, border select the heads, or go to edit mode, wireframe mode, select the heads of these bones. What's the tails? And then extrude 2 bones out. And now yeah, that's alright. Actually, we want them to parent to the leg, to their respective leg IKs. So, leg. And now, move them out here. And rotate them like that. We'll put them there, in front of the legs. Now, these bones are IK for the top, for the upper legs. And you may be thinking, but we just assigned them to these ones. Yeah, I just told you though, they won't cut it. Because as you can see here, they won't bend very easily. So, and they'll bend easier if I do this. Hang on, I'll just unparent these very briefly. They'll bend a bit easier if I do this. Or will they? Oh well. So, parent them back to the leg. Okay. Alright, now assign these ones. Actually, maybe they should be like down like this. Then assign them to then assign these. Oh, name them first. You want to name them thigh IKL thigh IKR. Now thigh IKL. IKR. Now you see that they they go into a kind of a sitting position. You want to turn position off on both and set the weight to rotation instead. And now his legs will go backwards, but that's alright. All we do is just rotate these. Yes, they will say that they are rotated 1 Y quaternarian or 180 degrees on the Y using Euler, but that's the price we'll have to pay. It's not much of a price to pay, really. It's just a bit of confusion. Just remember, if you want to clear rotation, do not clear rotation on them. So select everything and then deselect the stuff you don't want cleared. Alright, we're going to do the same for the arms. So as you did, extrude from the head and tail of the shoulder and upper arm. Disconnect it from the shoulder, because for some reason it connected to the shoulder. And parent it to the, no, don't parent it. Keep it parented to the shoulder, I think. Yes. Alright. Now, rename it to, upper arm upper arm IKL, and upper arm IKR. Now we're going to upper arm IKL, upper arm IKR. Remember position, rotation, position off, rotation on. Okay, that's interesting. It rotated for some reason. Why? Why is it doing that? Maybe it should just be parented to the torso. Yeah, torso. There we go. And now they kind of rotated at an interesting angle. That's weird. What happened? Well, now that's interesting. It won't respond. Okay, that's interesting. Maybe you don't have any influence on them. Nope, that doesn't even do anything. That is strange. I don't know what I did wrong, folks. This usually works. Alright, Oh! Oh! I see what happened. Yeah, that's better. Alright, so now we got it rotating in a nicer way. But it kind of sticks out here. And also, we don't want it to rotate 10 degrees on the x-axis, so -10, turn that off. Oh, and lock limit 0 and 145. Right. So, and then you'll have to rotate it again one more time. It's all right. Okay, that's a bit strange. The legs wobble. Oh well. And now it rotates. The knee bends properly. Now you see there's a lot of intersecting going on. I think it might have to do with the edge loops I added, so I'm going to get rid of those. I'm sorry guys, I really am. So, Control M. No, wait, no. Merge at center. Merge at center. Oh no. Merge. Oh no. You have to be careful doing it in wireframe. Merge it. Okay, merge at center. Merge at center. Yeah, I'm doing this. I'm pressing Alt M. Merge at center. Merge at center. You could also do merge at last if you click the middle one last, so that works. Merge at center or last or whatever. Merge at center. And merge at center one more time. Alright, so that fixed it. That's how I have my guy rotating, except let's see, how much is this? It doesn't say. So I guess 90 degrees. Of course, you can set it to rotate more if you want to, if you really need to. And now, oh yeah, maybe this is why I didn't have a shoulder controlling things, because it makes it a bit weird. Okay, so now we do the same thing for the locking on the forearm. You don't want it to rotate off the Y or the X this time. Oh wait, hang on. No, we do want it to rotate off the X. Do we? Yeah, you do want it to rotate off the X. Okay, limit. You want to get rid of the positive side this time. Get rid of that. And then lower the negative side to maybe 120 degrees. Same for this side. Get rid of the positive. Oh! Okay, that's interesting. Let's see. Oh, it's because of roll. So turn off the roll. And now it's rotated back at the other side. Okay. So what is it that we want? Oh, we don't want... We want... Let's see. We want... limit... We want limit X. No, Z. So turn off and limit... Right. Get rid of the positive. Change that to -120, because that seems to be a good amount. Same for this side. Turn off... And... Yep. 120. Oh, this one's positive this time. Alright, flip it over. And... yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of these shoulder bones, because they're not helping us out any. I put them there because I've had some weird deformation issues with this, So like they kind of sort of made a very, it sort of folded onto itself. So I was trying to compensate for that, but it looks like that it was for naught. So assign that to the upper arm R, and assign these vertices to the upper arm L. Upper arm L. Upper arm L. Here it is. You may also want to, oh, hello. Is the chain length longer here? Yep. What the? Oh, that completely broke it. What the? What is going on? Okay. Once again, can't stress the importance of, if you have your own production crew, have people who know how to rig things and know how to animate and know how to model. Because I clearly don't know how to rig, except I do. I must be doing something incorrectly, and it just happens to be manifesting itself in this tutorial. Manifesting, rather. Oh, the chain length is too long on this one and on that one. There we go, that fixed it. What was I... Right, I got rid of the shoulders. And there we are. We, hang on. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, it's doing it how it normally does, normally now. See, it's kind of folding. If you have it at extreme angles, it'll kind of crimp, kind of crease itself. Yeah, so that's a bit ugly, but yeah, sometimes it can't be helped. Alright, so let's see. Alrighty, so I think we're pretty much done here. So yeah. Oh! I was glad I tested that. Okay. We haven't, since the head and the hair are separate objects, we have to also put them onto the armature as well. However, we don't have to go to all the bother of weight painting or assigning vertex groups or anything. We can just select our head and then right click the bone that we want. So, and then press Control P, and then parent to bone. And if it does this when it's parents to bone, P can clear parent, click do bone relative, because I think that or click keep transformation, but we don't need to here, so we'll just have it relations. Just parent it to the bone and do this, and likewise do the same for the hair. So now, oh, so glad I tested that. He looks like a puppet. Well, he is a puppet in a sense. Okay, so we're gonna assign these to the torso. Assign these vertices to the torso. Actually, we can just select all of them. So assign them to the torso. Torso, where are you? There you are. And then assign these edges. So select the edges with Control, with Alt Shift right click, and then assign these to the upper arms. So actually no, assign one to the upper arm. Yeah, I was gonna make a mistake. Upper arm R, and upper arm L. Alright, I keep finding things that we haven't done, so... Alright, he looks pretty good. He looks a bit like a ragdoll here. If you play video games with ragdoll physics, you'll know what that is. That's because the IK is controlling where the leg position is, so... since the IK are over here, the legs will be pointing over here this makes animating a lot easier, so you can make him wave, sort of. You'll have to rotate this bone here to make it wave, to make him wave properly. Yeah, hi, hi. I'm great. I'm in a gray jumpsuit. That's better. Hi. Yeah, there you go. So yes, that's how you rig a character. As a result of my errors in rigging, you also know how to troubleshoot your rigged character. So, yeah, that was a blessing in disguise. And if you want to, you can put him into a cool into a nice pose. So maybe relax him a little. Oh, one tip, one more thing. A very quick way of posing things, two separate things with symmetry, is to scale them. But using median point as the pivot point. So if I scale it off the x-axis, they will follow, the arms will follow. However, the bones will deform. So we want to go into the transform locks in the bone properties. Lock scale. Lock scale. Same for these ones, just in case. Same for the ones on the legs. And now, if you scale on the median point, it not only deforms an object, so I'll demonstrate using cubes. One cube here, another here. Okay, so if you scale something, and not using median point, so the median point is here. The median point is the average distance between, is the average center of these objects. So if I selected a lot of objects, they were in a relatively even circle, the median point would be right in the center of them. Well, in fact, an even circle. So it's different from individual origins. So you can rotate them like that, and that kind of looks cool. But and also active element, you could that's useful. So you can make it swing around. So that, yeah. So anyway, median point. If you scale, it will not only make them wider or deform them, they will also move. So, and with this, what we did here, when we locked the scale, we were able to make them move off the axis we want, but without the bones deforming. Yeah, so if you want to make him hug someone, you make his arms wide, then once the other character's in position, or your character's in position, you bring his arms in. Well, and you rotate these so the arms will bend the right way. So that's what those controls are for. So these controls are for bending the arms the correct way. Same for the legs, bending them the correct way. Alright, so one last thing. I'm going to turn on experimental feature set because I like the new adaptive subdivision. You see this subdivision surface. Yeah, your minifig looks a bit blocky right now, and if you render it, hit F12. You'll see it down here because I have the image editor. Oh, I'm using the CPU. Well, yeah. I'll turn down the render samples briefly. And 9 samples, that'll be alright. See, he looks kind of blocky. Actually, when he's rendered, he looks fine because of the adaptive subdivision surface. So that's good. But if you didn't have that on, actually, sorry about that. He would look blocky, and the blockiness, although it doesn't look all that great, it's best for using the viewport, because if you wanted him all the way smooth, see, my computer's starting to slow down a little, you'll have a very hard time posing him. Even something as simple as his fingers, it's stuttering. Oh, that's interesting. I'm glad I found that. Okay, more troubleshooting. Anyway, so if you have it at, I think the highest you can go for just one character would probably be 4 before it starts to slow down. Yeah, so that's alright. I could probably deal with that, but I'd prefer as smooth as possible, so I go with 3. If you wanted it smooth, but usually I have it on 2 just so I can see the basic shape he'll be when he's rendered, or sometimes 1 if I'm having a really resource intense scene. Same with this. You turn on adaptive subdivision. Oh, also, if you click preserve volume, you'll also it'll probably fix a few of the issues in the rotation. So if you turn that off, you'll get a bit more consistent geometry deformation. Okay, so yeah, I'll fix that finger before we sign off. What's going on with the finger? Oh, I forgot these ones. Funny, because that's what this bone was for. So ironic. Alright. And, yep, that's good. Same for this one. Yep. Seems like it's all good. All good, all good. Alright, so now, as I promised, you now have a digital minifig puppet to play with. You can animate him, you could pose him, you can make them as a game asset if you wanted to. I will go into how to make a different texture later, because of course you'll want to do that. And also how to get different hair and make them have props as well. Yeah, props are fun if you know how to do them. You can't just, unlike a real minifig, if you want to put a prop in his hand, you can't just stick it there. It'll just stay there. So yeah, I'll get to that later. But for now, you have your own character to play with. I hope you enjoy using him, and will continue to use him. And I'll see you around. Oh, don't forget to save. I'm going to save mine as a different guy, so I'll just change it to 2. Yeah, use Control S to save. Save over. Yep. Alright, see you next time. And please rate, comment, and subscribe.